I'd like for you to play a little thought experiment with me, and I call it July 1st, 2018. Now, at the end of Bezel World, let's say Rolex, announces that it will start taking pre-orders from its ADs on April 1st, and that they expect the first shipments to start reaching dealers in the United States on July 1st. So, you're sitting there and you're doing some calculations. You're thinking, well, with what I've got in the bank with my watch fund already, I can spare this much for my income tax. I can count on a yearly bonus, which we should get in June. And also in June, that bond revenue that the city is using to fund whatever is going to finally expire, which means the sales tax where I live will go down. So actually July 1st ought to be great. So you go in and you talk to the AD and you're on the list, hoping to get a Rolex GMT Pepsi on that date, July 1st. May 1st, you get a phone call from your authorized dealer. And they tell you, Mr. Wrangler, great news. We have a Pepsi GMT waiting for you. You're like, what? Huh? Whoa, sorry. Hey, guys, I wasn't ready. I mean, they said July, not May. And AD's like, yeah, we were really surprised about it too, but, awesome, it's ready. It's here to pick it up. You say, well, no, I'm sorry. I was calculating for July, and I kind of meant July. Well, the authorized dealer says, well, that's no problem. You want us to put you back on the list, right? For next? Yeah, great. Thanks. You get a phone call late in the afternoon of June 1st, 2018, and the AD tells you that there's another shipment of Pepsis. I keep wanting to say Batman, but let's just say Pepsis. And again, you go through the whole rigmarole with your dealer again. And the dealer agrees to put you back on the waiting list. Late in the afternoon on July 1st, your phone rings again. You look down, and you see that it's the authorized dealer. Now, here's the question. You check the bank account. Everything's happened as you planned. The question is, do you go ahead and go down to the authorized dealer with the Amex card and just plunk it down and walk out with your Pepsi? Or when the phone's ringing, would you be thinking, well, they've had it in May before it's supposed to be ready. They've had it in June before it's supposed to be ready. They've got it in July. Do I really need to go spend everything? Do I really need to spend all this money? Or can I wait a little bit? Maybe I could take the family on a better vacation. Maybe I can do some improvements around the house, and at the end of the summer, save a little bit more money up save some more money up and buy one at the end of the summer, September or October. Or you're sitting there whether to hit accept or reject on the phone call, and are you thinking, well, if they've got them in stock, maybe I can just sit back and wait and pick up one used. They're pretty solid, dependable little watches. Maybe I get one and not have to pay the sales tax if I buy it used. If Craigslist or whatever. Or get it for a discount. It's an interesting question, isn't it? And I know sitting there, your keyboard commando Cody, furiously typing, saying, well, I'm glad you figured out simple supply side economics by yourself, dumbass. Well, and that is true in the concept of scarcity. But it kind of forces you to take a look at yourself, Do you really follow through and walk up to the AD and pay full MSRP and the sales tax? Or do you wait? And like I said, I've always been a used guy, in the true tradition of the Pontiff, because of Rolex, Steel Sport Stunners, buying them used, buy them minty, buy them at a discount, and, haggle like a bitch. The other question is, what would happen to Rolex, or actually even the used market watch, the luxury watch market in general, if used pieces are easily available like they used to be? Will there be an implosion? What will happen if the bubble bursts? And the nice thing about the thought experiment, it actually makes you sit back and think about how market forces kind of guide and influence your behavior. And conversely, how our behavior, to a lesser degree, influences market decisions. What was your reaction about that on July 1st? What was your decision? Now, for this to happen, it almost has to be a perfect storm. Market scarcity, forcing prices up in waiting lists. And, to a certain degree, I actually think this is manipulated rather deliberately by Rolex. Either that, or they didn't really count on the economy being as good as it did, so their supply estimates were low. But if it happens again this year, let's face it, it's probably deliberate. For it to happen, it has to be a popular item. And I have been kind of pissy about Rolex lately, but they do make good watches. The modern ones, they're solid, they're dependable, they'll last. They have good resale value. But for these conditions to occur, there can't be a viable competitor for Rolex. If Omega, if the watches were every bit as good, every bit as prestigious, and had almost the same resale, do you think people would be tempted, if they can't get the Submariner, to maybe go get the Omega Seamaster? The 300M, or whatever the new one is. Anyway, I was just wondering what your thoughts were on the subject, and I'd have to consider how it would influence my behavior. Week's almost through, guys. Let's get through it together. Have a good one.